We've seen a raise from Malacca star Juan Paro making 130K with King 10. Alex Kulev with 9s on the button, super short.
Yes, this is a very strong hand of 7 big blinds, I think. You know.
The virtual all-in from Kulev, leaving himself a few chips behind. Round 2, Vogelsang, who folds the big blind. Action back on Pardo.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate spot for Juan Paro. He's got one of the weaker hands that he's going to be opening, but he's getting a very, very good price to make this call. So it's going to be, yeah, does feel he's got to go, and he's going to be really pleased to see 9s.
Absolutely. Classic race underway.
Yeah, and you can see Alex hoping to see a ace-3 suited or something, just a 1 overcard or something like that. So the reigning champion.
9 of hearts. 9 of hearts.
Did you see, by the way, Alex won the warm-up here. There was an amazing winner's photo with his girlfriend and parents. Really, really lovely.
Oh, I was wondering who the other people were.
Yes,
Okay.
you thought, yeah. It wasn't just two. It wasn't the
You two, get over here.
the waitress who bought him the espresso
Right.
every day. No, I thought that was just a lovely moment to see. It's so rare to win a tournament, to do one when your parents are in town. Absolutely lovely.
So far, so good for Kulev. 9s holding on a queen, tray, deuce flop. He is the at-risk player, though. Needs those 9s to hold. There is a 76% chance that happens.
Well, look what it means to him. A little bit of sweat there.
Oh, geez, yeah. I guess maybe because the roof was open.
Maybe he's got his whole net worth in this tournament.
Maybe his parents are like mine and just, ooh.
10 on the turn. And that means Kulev is drawing to 2 outs. Unless there's a 9 on the river, we're down to 8.
Luck, everyone.
It's a jack, and so Alex Kulev, who came in as the short stack, fails to get anything going, fails to double up on the second hand of the FT. He will cash in 9th place, 218,300 euros. Queen 6 for Ben. And he has completed. Christoph Vogelsang with 7-4 of hearts in the bag.
Yeah, and this is just what we see, the shorter stack limping in again and again. Don't get many raises. Everyone incentivized to sort of play smaller pots and not clash too much.
Ace, ace, 8.
I'm not wrong, right? That was a good fault from Byron, right?
Someone said commentators are high. That was an easy laydown.
Maybe it just is an easy laydown, but it just seems to me that it's just like pretty strong hand, blind versus blind.
The good news is that the more popular poker becomes and the more popular our streams become, the worse opinions and frequency of them that show up in our chats.
It's just, yeah, I'm just a fan watching these guys do their thing. Kind of making me regret playing the tournament, to be honest.
Huh.
Is there any chance I can get? It's too late to get a refund. We make it 2.8 million for first.
Just take it off the top. Nobody will notice.
Yeah. And this one, bet from Ben and call from Christoph. Is that correct?
Sorry?
Ben bet 60,
Yes.
Christoph called. Yes.
Yeah. And you see how tricky it is, Christoph, with that backdoor flush draw. And very unlikely straight, floating, taking one off. And now, you know, might spring into action. If you play, you know, a 1K and you bet queen 6, your opponent will just fold 7-4 pretty often on ace, ace, 8. But that's not what we get here. And checks it back, Christoph. Going for the delayed bluff. And doesn't this look a little bit like king high? right? What hand calls the flop and checks back the turn?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah.
It
There's a lot of
kinda-
king highs in there.
Kind
Yeah.
of looks like king five of diamonds or what have you. And Ben with queen high, he's not going to be able to get a fold from a pair.
Wow.
So won't bluff himself. And now Christoph arriving at the river with 7 high.
Unlikely to be the best hand.
Indeed, indeed. And so having on the last hand seen a great lay down, can we see an above the rim call? I mean, surely not. Look at this from Heath. Look at this, dialed in.
He is.
It's like you're telling me a believable story, but go on, Ben Heath.
Wow, the queen high hero call, which is correct.
It's just too good. It's just.
You know what? It's because Vogel's saying just a little piece of that hoodie is flapped down.
Sure.
Just look, I can see the right half of his lip.
Oh, dear. See what this Malacca will do.
Oh, he's got queens again.
Malacca style.
Raises to 170,000. Folded around to Byron Cavman, who's got ace king of diamonds.
Jeez.
Yes, very beautiful and strong holding. 20 big blinds.
I mean, I know we haven't seen Chidwick's cards yet, but is he just not play this hand and have 2 bigs?
I mean, that. Well, I feel pretty certain he will if there's a big confrontation here.
775.
Yeah, because that is a committing re-raise from Cavman.
Yeah, the demi shove from Byron.
Oh, Chidwick's got 8s.
Jeez.
Wow. What a strong holding off. Is that just over 4.5 big blinds? Wow. And this is a very, very rare occasion. Not Stephen, obviously one of the very best in the world, but a lot of action in front of him. What does that mean for a hand like pocket 8s? Obviously, you'd be delighted if Malacca folded and he was up against just ace-king. Would love that kind of flip, but is that just best case scenario? It's also the overlay. If Malacca folds, a chance to almost treble up. I mean, we know he's in a terrible situation, and he just puts it in.
Yeah, calls all in. So action back on Pardo, who got 3-bet by Cavman.
Huge confrontation brewing here.
How much? 775. Oh, this one's on.
Yeah, that's a short stack call. So Cavman's got 860 behind, so I'm guessing Pardo will just put him in.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, let's see. I mean, Juan Paro hasn't snap acted here. Is he wanting to call and get away ever, or is he wanting to, you know, what's the range of hands Byron has here?
5 seconds.
What's Stevie's range? I mean, I
Okay.
would presume, yeah, there we go. It's just going to be, take his time. And also not give away the strength of his hand in case Byron would ever fold. You know, and yeah, Byron very set. I mean, the good thing here for Byron, is that he would get the pay jump.
Correct.
If Juan Pardo beats him, Juan Paro has to like beat him and lose to Steven, and that's just not. It's a hard thing
I have the clock. I just.
to happen. You see he's a little bit agonized. Just recognizes the strength of Stevie's range, the strength of Juan Paro's range. But I think the suited properties is a bit of get out of jail, free equity. I don't know, but you can see agonizing. These decisions, of course, worth, I mean, literally hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Don't worry, Sam. The chat pros are here to tell us this is an easy call.
Yeah, and you see, he just needs to make sure. There you go.
All in the call.
So we do have a three-way all-in here.
Wow.
Both Stephen Chidwick and Byron Cavman at risk, both covered by Juan Paro, who has the best hand right now. It is the sickest and classicest of races between Paro and Cavman.
Yeah, with the extra little side order of Stephen Chidwick Snowman.
The Snowman's dominated by Paro's queens, but we could potentially see a double KO if queens hold.
Yeah, I mean, this is big, big implications for the tournament.
Maybe it's just like an 8-high straight, you know?
Yeah, you see Stevie a little bit more relaxed than Cavman and Paro. Wow.
Ace, king, jack on the flop. Cavman now with the advantage. Going to get near enough a triple up here. Not looking good for Stephen Chidwick. Chidwick is going to need the 8 of spades on the river, or he is eliminated in 8th place. Byron Cavman needing to fade a queen,
Yeah.
or a
One.
10. Instead, it's a 5. And so, Stephen Chidwick will be eliminated,
Around 1.6.
cashing for 272,800 euros. And that, as I said, is a near triple up for Cavman, doubling up through Juan Paro, plus getting Stevie 444's chips. And that means Byron is now second in chips, and there isn't that much between Cavman and Antonius.
Yeah, that's a huge, huge swing between the American and Spaniard, as you rightly said. The most classic of flips would have put Juan Paro in a very commanding position. Instead, it's Byron that leaps up the leaderboard.
David Yan on the button. Ace 9.
Yeah, I think this just needs to play as a pure shove for the 15 bigs, but you know, you don't really want to induce with this. You don't really want to call, frankly,
No.
because it's pretty much always going to be
Oh.
better. And there it is, and that is just really unlucky for David Yan.
A domination situation as Patrik Antonius snaps with ace queen. Yan is going to need to get lucky. And I would highlight that Juan Paro and Jean-Noel Thorel are shorter stacks right now. They could ladder if Yan goes broke here.
Yeah, and ladders get quite serious in this thing. Looking at an extra 80 or so, 85,000 euros just for Yan not finding this 23% backdoor.
The flop is 10-6-4. Ace queen high is holding. David Yan looking for a 9.
Seven or an 8 would also give him a little more hope.
Turn card is a 6 pairing the board.
Oh, that's not bad.
Does create opportunities. River card is a blank.
Okay,
So
good luck
David
with that.
Yan is eliminated in 7th place. He'll receive 341,200 euros.
Thorel, who quickly calls the king, queen of clubs. We got a fair fight.
King, queen suited for Thorel. Pardo, the favorite.
I like.
I heard John Noel Thoreau's just here for the zip line.
It's my game. Be careful.
You know.
Thoreau, a joy to have at the table. Thoreau, the player, risk 1 club on the flop. No king, no queen.
Give him the jack of clubs. It's always a queen on the turn, isn't it? You notice that? It's always a queen on the turn
Or a 3.
or a king on the river. In my
3
experience.
on the turn. Thoreau down to 6 outs once. River card is the 9 of spades from CIA to CIAO. Ciao. John Noel Thoreau.
See ya later.
Out in 6th for 426,500 euros.
Go on, Patrik. King Jack of spades. What a delight to find on the button. I really didn't want to leave, you know. They had to drag me out of the booth. Whoa.
Hachi Machi.
So,
Number 2 on the all-time money list, Ben Heath with pocket 10s.
yeah, it's a very delicate spot. He's going to be deciding, but he might even flat here. Deciding between just,
Flatting and shoving, basically.
yeah.
5 seconds. 975.
Oh, he's through betting. There you go.
Third option.
So I will say, they just played one of the biggest hands of the final table in the last rotation. Antonius King Queen, Heath King Jack, 9-10-3, check call, turn brick, River Queen, check shove for like 2.2x the bet.
Oh, wow.
And Antonius folded. So there is, you know, they've just had a very, very significant pot where
we-
Antonius made a big fold and
Yeah, we're calling it dynamic. Yeah. And so King Jack is a little tricky to
Yeah.
play here. Obviously the chips, just very easy to continue, but a little bit weird.
shouldn't be light here, right? And not
I feel like Patrik specifically might just see a flop,
yeah,
see 3, and that kind of
evaluate, yeah. But it does create a tricky...
anything, all 3 options, I think, for Patrik Antonius are in play here. He's not quite sure how he wants to continue.
Patrik almost certainly knows actions on him.
That's right, Iceman. I am dangerous.
I can actually see Patrik breathing for once.
Oh
He
my
is all in. That
God.
explains a lot.
And this is the real downside to what?
That's a call.
Yeah, because he's found himself in a weird flip. A weird flip.
Yeah. King Jack, not always the strongest of holdings, but against pocket 10s, it's as good as any other 2 overs for the most
Jeez,
part.
This is a crazy clash here between, you know, I mean, the two chip leaders effectively, right?
Yeah, 1 and 3 are 2 of the biggest stacks anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't think either one of them really wanted this eventuality, but who will emerge on top?
Like gold bullion versus uncut diamonds. One of these 2 hands has a slight mathematical advantage. King, queen, 9, all diamonds.
Just dirty.
I'll take a chop. I'll take 8-7 of diamonds. I can't. Ben's still alive with the gut shot, but
Ben at risk right now.
One of the
Does
jacks
have
folded,
outs.
Or in Antonius'
Turn is
hand.
a 7. There goes the diamond chop.
oh dear.
Ben Heath down to his last opportunity to spike a straight and survive.
Here's Johnny.
Final card, 9 ball.
Oh,
That's it for Ben Heath.
geez. And I do feel for Ben Heath, back-to-back final tables in Monte Carlo, I believe he was here last year. Oh, this is quite exciting. Go on, Byron. Have ace,
Byron Cavman with fewer than 10 big blinds to start the hand.
have ace
He's leaning.
Ace queen. I'll give him ace queen.
Ace 8.
Ooh. Obviously, you'd be loving this hand if it was suited. That extra backup. But just raw, a little bit of raw strength.
If he does the Jack Salter triangle thing, I'll give everyone $100.
What do you mean by everyone?
Everyone on the stream.
Wow.
We just go and hand Christoph August. That's from Griff. What do you think he's going to do here? I mean, it's just got like a raw strength to it, but it's also,
I feel like
an 8 isn't great. A lot of, like, sort of starts raising
Even though it
8x.
rhymes.
It's very difficult to spot with 9. Remember, there is 4.5 out there. Half of his stack, if he can get it through.
I mean, isn't Patrik going to be opening a pretty wide range of,
Of
hands
course,
that
of course.
will not all contain dominating aces?
Yeah, of course.
750.
Not at all in.
See where you're at.
The demi shove. It's going to allow him some time to sigh before committing the rest of his chips.
The blinds have folded, and Patrik makes the call. Domination situation. Cavman in trouble.
Give us the sigh.
I'd love to see an 8 here for our state size warrior. You can see he's just, it does feel like a cuspy kind of thing. Oh, wow.
Well, the irony is this was the hand that he folded against Juan Paro. The dead man's hand, right?
I don't think they were playing Hold'em in that bar in Montana. 7 high flop.
Was that EPT Series 1? You can catch it on the 24-hour channel.
It's like a Yellowstone. It was EPT 1871.
A little bit of straighty possibility. Again, I'd love to see something open up.
Jack on the turn is going to be lights out. Cavman in the dark.
GG's.
Eliminated
What's that?
in 4th place for nearly 700,000 euros.
As we continue three-handed action in the 100K. This is at least the 3rd time today that Juan Pardo's had queens.
Starts the hand with about 20 bigs here on the button.
A reminder that we're at the 8160 blind level, level 23 of the tournament. It's a raise to 330,000. Patrik folds the small. Christoph Vogelsang in the big with queen 6 of clubs.
Yeah, a hand which doesn't match up too well against pocket queens. Covering stack, suited hands. Seems like we are forced to continue.
And does indeed make the call.
Seriously dominated by Pardo as they go heads up to the flop. Oh, wow, 6-6-5 trips for Christoph, and no reason for Pardo to think that queens aren't way ahead here.
Yeah, I mean, this is real domination rotation in the most extreme form. I mean, what a flop.
Something, pre-flop pot odds, something, we must continue, something.
And Juan Pardo drawing to 1 out.
Yeah, and there are a number of sort of straight draws here you want to get some value and protection against. You know, we just want to bet, I think. And Christoph with the trips. Just a board where a lot of the continues come via check raise. You know, you can check raise the straight draws because you're going to check raise the 6s. I don't know whether he'll check raise this exact combo, but it seems like a very, very likely outcome. Start building the pot. I mean, obviously, if you knew your opponent had queens, of course you'd raise. And
it is a check raise.
Yeah.
Pardo's C-bet 180K, Vogelsang's check raise to 550K.
Yeah, and this is not an entirely unexpected outcome. As I say, a lot of the continues do come via a check raise. So Juan Paro still going to feel pretty comfortable with his hand. will just continue via call. Keep all the bluffs in, all the weak parts of Christoph's range. But we shall see.
Pardo calls in position. King of clubs on the turn. Vogelsang now a 98% favorite. Juan Paro drawing to the case queen.
Yeah, and reasonably neutral card. I'm pretty sure that, it doesn't bring in any of the straights where a lot of the continues come from. So although an overcard to the pocket queens, and Christoph with a deceptive check.
Yeah, you got to wonder if he's just thinking that king might be often in the range of the continue from Pardo. I mean, certainly hands like even like king queen would have to call a check raise at some frequency, right, Sam?
Absolutely, king queen would continue. So because he's got so many give ups with, and Malaka checks it back.
Queen of hearts, she made some tarts, but she does not come on the river, and so Vogelsang has a lock on this.
Yeah, and it's also because the pot at 2 million, Vogelsang can just play shove on the river after check as well. You can still get the money in, even if the turn checks through. And it's going to seem, I think it's a pretty natural bet size. Maybe you play block and shove, or just, he checks again.
Wow. Very, very deceptive at this point.
Wow. I'm very surprised at this, actually. See, Christoph will have his own approach to this spot, may even use some randomizing. And now Juan Pardo going to consider going for value against 9x, a 9-7, a 9-8 perhaps, even against some 5x that might check raise. So considering his options.
Time bank card being played by Juan Pardo.
I mean, can he find a check back? Does it make any sense against Christoph's range? Not the hand we can see he's got against his range to check back queens. Or can you just get a very clean value bet in against? And what is that sizing look like?
Pardo betting the river. We've got 2 million in the pot. And it's 1.3 million.
Wow. And Juan Pardo betting and just loving it, basically. He's hoping to get called here. He's hoping for a tank and call. A king would already have called, so he's just hoping to get called by, a 5-4, an ace-5, or whatever it might be. And he's about to get some bad news when Christoph deems it appropriate.
You really have to feel for Juan here, though. I would argue check raise with trips and then check twice out of position is a really low frequency line when you've got a hand this strong looking for value. So trap activated.
And there is the check raise all in, the virtual all in, but certainly enough to put Juan Pardo all in. So he's bet 1.3 million. He's got 1 million behind. Can he ever fold here, Sam?
Well, he's just got a bluff catcher, so he wants to think about what properties does he want to have to call. I mean, he has kings full, quad sixes, pocket nines, which he will just call with. So where does queens, does he have king 7, which blocks a straight and is a little bit stronger in actual hand strength? Does he have the suits which interfere with the sixes in some way? Like what are the properties that he wants? How much of his rank? It's just an incredibly difficult technical spot, but this is why he's one of the best in the world. He's going to have his own way of working it out. It's, you see, Yeah, you see immediately there's no emotion or frustration or banging of the table. It's like, let's get down to business and work this through. I mean, it's also, what's the worst hand that you value bet? Do you value bet a 9? Maybe not. So therefore, is queens just the worst hand you bet on the river? Queens and 10s. Very difficult. Of course, he knows that he has to call a lot because he's getting such a good price. But another thing is, under ICM, the last few chips are worth a lot more than each chip is worth progressively more. So
yes,
you're calling off, in a way, you're calling off, the pot odds don't exactly matter is the best way I can describe it, quite as much, because you're still in and fighting. Your last chip is worth so much. I mean, I actually think if Christoph had played it a bit more conventionally, he would have been certain to get the money. But that's, you know, against his actual hand, not against the overall range. And you have to sort of balance or what have you. It's a horrible spot for Malacca. A horrible spot. You begin with queens, you feel so good. You get that check on the turn, you feel so good. You put in the value bet, knowing there's a whole host of hands that can call you that are worse. And now you're in this very, very tough situation for your tournament life, three-handed here, and against a very, very strong player. Where are the bluffs coming from? 5-7? 5-8? What are the hands that check raise, check the river, and check shove? That's another thing.
Like maybe 3-4, but that seems like a Hail Mary at this point to try and find a rep there where you're not blocking, you know, 8-7 or something, 8-9 or something. Sorry, 7-8 or something like that.
Well, yeah, I think also that bluffs itself on the river. So you need a hand which could go check, check, and win.
Yep.
But now versus a bet wants to raise.
Exactly.
So it's you know, but the thing that's really difficult is also, as we've said, we don't expect the 6x to be played like this all too often. So where are the bluffs and where are the value combinations? It's just a very difficult hand against, you know, you're just seeing a top poker mind working it out and deciding. But believe me, you know, the amazing thing to see, look at this, is sort of counting. I would love to know what's going through his mind exactly, but it's sort of a combinatrix. He's working through how many value combos might play like this, how many bluff combos, and where he needs to pull, you know.
He's made the call, he has called all in, and he is out. We're going heads up in the super high roller as Christoph Vogelsang tables trip sixes and eliminates Juan Paro in third place.
Yeah, and a little fist pump.
Thanks.
So Juan Paro gets 906,700 euros. 7-figure scores guaranteed for both Vogelsang and Antonius, who will play heads up for the trophy. And a difference in prize money of around 700K. So Antonius with 10-9, not quite the grafter, not suited.
Sexy. Still sexy. Semi-sexy.
Okay, well, it's a call from Patrik.
Yep, we are now sub 20 big blinds effective. Way more limping now that we're shallower than when we were deeper.
8 deuce off for Christoph Vogelsang.
Yeah, very trashy hands. Might try and just pick it up pre in some way.
I was going to say it's so trashy it might actually end up being part of your polarized ISO range here. And sure enough.
The raise from Vogelsang. 700K.
Wow. Yeah, and Patrik with a reasonable hand to continue. Not going to be loving it, but...
Yeah, if you're going to limp these combos, you need to also defend versus ISO, especially against studied opponents.
There is an 8 on the flop, along with a pair of queens. Vogelsang now a 57% favorite. This is what I like to call a post-flop flip. Antonius still with decent equity.
Yeah, Queen, I guess, sort of favors Patrik, I would imagine. A lot of that hand's going to be a Jack 10s and 8-9s and et cetera, et cetera. We'll see how Vogelsang wants to proceed, I guess. We flop 2 pair. We've got 8 deuce, no point slow playing. We'll put a bit of money in. Patrik, of course, got the spade. Although, yeah, doesn't always get to see. Oh, I mean, I guess on a spade he'll get to see the river.
Vogelsang continuing for 450,000.
Yep, quarter pot continue after that ISO. So I think you just call here loads if you're Antonius.
All in.
Oh my
Wow.
days.
Antonius all in with the gut shot.
I mean, this is, wow, this is a little bit weird. I mean, the queen never shoves, so it's just, does he have a better 8, I think, and you have an 8, so how can he have an 8? I think he's going to know that this is a flush draw, kind of often. I mean, it's not a flush draw, but I don't know. But I don't see, we shall see. I don't see Christoph folding here. Like, would be very weird to limp call queen 10 and just go all in. So given that, what hand is it? Christoph, you know, I mean, we're not loving this, obviously. It's like, imagine he's just got Jack 8. That's just a disaster. You can't win. But we got ourselves here, and we're getting 2-1 or whatever.
Vogelsang makes the call, tables what is currently the best hand.
He does attack.
And it is indeed a post-flop flip in very real terms now.
Antonius looking for a 9, 10, or jack to win this super high roller.
And suddenly this 9-10 does look very strong to me somehow. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know how he's engineered this, but it does feel like there's a lot of runners and outs and the power of 10-9. Patrik Antonius could win a super high roller here if things go his way.
As things stand, Vogelsang is the favorite. A 10 on the turn, and Patrik Antonius is on the verge of victory. 95% favorite to win the €2 million first prize and lift that trophy.
Yeah, you've got to feel for Christoph. One more card to come. He needs an 8.
He has 2 outs. Unless it's an 8 on the river, it's over.
Big river.
It's the 8!
Wow.
Spikes a 2-outer,
No
doubles up
way.
and survives.
That's insane. I did not see that coming at all. Like, I actually, what percentage was that? 1%? 0.000? 5%?
5.
It doesn't feel like 5% to me. It didn't feel like, well, that's insane, River Cup. Where did that come from?
Outrageous. Justice for Vogelsang.
I had a whole, you know, Patrik Antonius is crowning moment of his blah, blah, blah. I was all ready for it. Where did that 8 come from?
Vogelsang, ace 5. Starts the hand with 23 bigs. Completes. Patrik with ace 9.
I mean, this is a problem.
This is a domination situation in favor of the Finn.
I think it's just a shove, guys.
He's all in.
Yep.
Patrik shoves on Vogelsang. Is Christoph going to call it off here?
Yeah, he doesn't feel good about this. It's like, that was quite a quick shove. I mean, what are you going to do? Soul read Patrik Antonius, but did that feel like you found the, like, obscure shove with suited?
There's the call. And this could be it.
Yeah.
Now, we've been in this spot before, so we know that things can change on the turn of every card. But as things stand, Patrik Antonius is the favorite, a 60% favorite to win the super high roller here in Monaco.
Yeah, and it's big, very, very big for both of these. I'm sure Patrik would love to take this title down in his hometown.
The flop. King, Queen, 4. Ace 9 is holding. There is a 26% chance of a chop. Right now, Christoph Vogelsang looking for a 5 to get that all-important double up.
Yeah, even the club working for Antonius.
Turn card is a queen. More chop opportunities now.
is this the moment Patrik Antonius is crowned Super High Roller Champion of Monte Carlo.
Time for the river card to be dealt. It's a 9. Torilla, the Finn, is the champion.
Sai taputtaa.
Patrik Antonius takes down
Good game,
the
good game.
EPT 2024 Monte Carlo Super High Roller for nearly 2 million euros.
Now there is only one thing left to do, besting a super high roller field of 72 total entries and winning a prize of 1.967 million euros. Let's get a big round of applause for our super high roller champion, Patrik Antonius.